The question for both of you, 50 first, why this project, why now?
Well, we waited until after the results of the trial to release the project, but I started like almost 5 months before I was able to find Alex, and finding an Emmy Award-winning showrunner and director is detrimental to the project being really well put together. So, you know, they should expect it to perform like Reggie Jackson's did.
Thank you. Yeah, I think why it's coming out now is we wanted to wait, you know, to get through all of the legal proceedings, the criminal trial, and it spans, it's, you know, four parts, and it spans over 30 years of, you know, pop culture, his life. So it took some time, to say the least, to put all of this together.
50 Cent has once again drawn national attention, but this time the focus goes beyond routine controversy. Statements made in his recent documentary involving Diddy have stirred intense public discussion and raised serious questions. According to 50 Cent, the information already revealed is only a portion of what exists. He suggests that key details remain undisclosed, and if brought forward, they could significantly alter how this situation is understood.
Your favorite villain? I kind of like Diddy. When people say I'm a troll, I say, I don't know why you're saying I'm trolling people. I'm doing what you...
Kirkland describes the action not as a simple oversight, but as a deliberate and disrespectful decision. This raises serious concerns about Diddy's understanding of trust, loyalty, and personal limits. Through 50 Cent's documentary, these claims are explored in depth, revealing what is presented as a deep breach of confidence and leaving audiences deeply unsettled.
I just want to say this. People are talking about how, you know, 50's attacking him and he's being petty. Now, keep in mind, out of all the women in the world that Diddy could have gotten with, he chose 50 Cent's baby mother.
It's a lot of variables to this particular question. Because I talk to a lot of people, older, younger, even my daughter, who's 22, she didn't understand it. So people give their opinion based on what they've experienced and their environment, people they've been around. So to the people that understand boundaries and respect, I always tell men you should never date another man's girl if you're not aware of it. If you know it, then it's wrong. But if you're aware of it, it's like basketball players that we talked about this before. Football players who date the same women.
Yeah.
And won't go outside the box.
Yeah, and I've never done that. In my life, I can honestly say at 52 years old, I have never dated someone.
Gene Deal, who has long been connected to 50 Cent, has voiced strong objections regarding the documentary's development. He argues that several core ideas used in the project were drawn from concepts he had shared earlier without proper recognition. According to Deal, he collaborated closely with the production team and offered meaningful guidance on the documentary's overall direction. Despite this involvement, he says his role was never formally acknowledged. These claims have sparked wider discussion about the project's credibility, the ownership of its narrative, and whether credit was fairly assigned. Given 50 Cent's prominent role in shaping the documentary, the criticism carries added weight and intensifies the debate surrounding its originality.
Ex of a friend of mine.
Right.
Sometimes I found out a girl that I'm messing with that also messed with this other dude that I know in the industry, whatever. That's a little different after the fact. But I would never go into it if that's like was his girl.
It's really the wrong thing to do. I've been presented in my lifetime. Women have come to me and they'll say, oh, you know my ex-husband, or you know my husband that passed. And when I was in my 30s, I leaped and did it. Because I said, if I died and was in a relationship and my baby mom was fine, ain't nobody gonna think of me. They're gonna date the person. So this is just some real shit. As I sit here today, knowing that there's an ocean full of women.
Billions. There are billions of women.
Billions.
Right, and that's the whole thing about Diddy. Diddy's not some nerdy dude who just happened to find some IG model and, oh my God, this is the girl of my dreams. Man, he has access to women all around the planet.
And that's his reputation.
But he went after the baby mother of one of his rivals.
Exactly.
Someone who had been taking shots at him for years.
Absolutely.
On purpose.
And he went after her knowing that they had beef.
Right. And slutted her out.
Slut her out.
Just slutted her out.
Slut her out.
Having a whole basketball team run a train on her.
Totally
And
did. I
just
totally
the whole
agree.
thing, right?
Totally agree.
Right.
But his reputation from when he worked at Uptown, I'll be sure's girlfriend.
Oh, Kim Porter.
Kim Porter.
Right.
That's his reputation.
I'll be sure his baby mother.
Baby mama.
Yeah.
Then Eric Serum, his friend, the one that had she had his baby, Mia. So he's had a reputation of going after people.
Tupac's ex-girlfriend. He got a baby with her too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So my point that I'm making to the men listening, well, if you don't understand this, then you just poorly educated and don't really have common sense. It's a no-no. There's no way.
During an open discussion, Gene Deal points to what he describes as a concerning trend in Diddy's past relationships. He claims that many of these connections involved women who were previously linked to individuals seen as rivals, suggesting intentions that may extend beyond personal affection, from relationships tied to Tupac's circle to other well-known figures. Deal argues that these choices appear deliberate rather than accidental. He believes this pattern reflects a broader strategy tied to influence and image rather than romance. According to this perspective, personal relationships may have been used as tools within larger power struggles. 50 Cent's documentary highlights this viewpoint, presenting a connection between Diddy's private decisions and his public conflicts.
Had to be down. The documentary had to be downsized. You understand? I don't really believe that, because a documentary is a documentary, and they could have had 45 minutes. They could have had an hour, to each one of those. You understand? They left out certain things. He said they even left out the one about Sarah Chapman. You understand? And for whatever reason, he probably left out a lot of other different stars too. Situations that they could have spoke about. You understand? I have a problem with the documentary, and I'm just gonna let you know that the reason I have a problem with the documentary is that they know that they took my ideal. You understand? They know that when I came to them, I laid out what they should do and how the documentary should be. You understand? She could say whatever she want to say. I talked to those producers before I even talked to her. They wanted to know what I had, what I was bringing, my pictures, all that stuff like that. And I told them about me, Tim, and Kirk. You understand what I'm saying? And how it would go. They did the same thing. This ain't the first time they stole from me, man. If you look at the Notorious Big, if you watch the Notorious Big, that part about the shoes, I had that in my book. And I was talking to K.O. Copeland. He was one of the writers of that movie. And I told him about when I let Big use my shoes at Soul Train Award. You had this old flunky ass dude, Mike B, get on Angie Martinez's show and talk about, yo, Big, he wore mixed max shoes and he went out there and performed. When you go look at the film, when you go look at Big performing that on that show, ain't nothing mixed match about them shoes. There was $800 Maury's, size 14D. Big wore 14E. E means that his shoes is a little wider than mine. He struggled, but he put them on and he went out there and performed. Those was my Gators.
Mark Curry recounts experiences that he says reveal an intense need for control, especially in Diddy's personal relationships. He describes a moment when a producer was sharply confronted for communicating with Kim Porter, an incident Curry presents as an example of possessive conduct. Through these accounts, Curry portrays someone who closely monitors interactions and seeks to manage even minor details, particularly when those involved are part of a close inner circle.
You understand? They did a little skit trying to disrespect me in the movie, you understand? And they said something about, oh, we got this shit from Big Sexy. He knew they called me Big Sexy, you understand? Because I used to play ball with them at the Reebok on Columbus Avenue on Saturday morning. And on my arm, it had Big Sexy. Right there, Mighty. That was my pen name for Felon Magazine. People didn't notice I used to write for Felon Magazine. You understand? And because I was a parole officer writing for Felon magazine, I named myself Big Sexy. You understand? So now, they go and steal my ideal and what I was writing in my book on the Notorious. Now they did this on this doc. That's what they do, bruh. They don't care, bruh. They did the same thing on the BMF things to my man who just did a book. His name is Alexander Newell out there in Detroit. They call him KK. Him and the brothers used to run around on the west side in the Brewster Project. They from the Brewster Projects. Him and his brother, what's Alex's brother name? Dangerous. They got him played in the movie as the name Dog in that BMF movie. Alex's brother name is Lawrence. I think it's Lawrence. Dangerous. Wasn't playing. When they got him up in the video, going into the game on the BMF thing and killing somebody in front of everybody in the basketball thing, he was that type of dude. Alex used to come to Harlem to see me. He actually took me to him, my man Kevin Thigpen. We all went to Atlantic City. We seen the show Beauty.
Curry argues that this conduct cannot be explained as affection alone, but rather as a pursuit of authority and influence. He raises the possibility that this controlling mindset may not be limited to personal relationships, but could also shape professional interactions. As presented in 50 Cent's documentary, this pattern is portrayed as extending well beyond private matters, with potential implications for how power is exercised across broader business operations.
We had a time. Alex was the man. You know what I'm saying? So now, they take his story, all the stuff they just switch around, change it for the BMF thing. That's what they do, bro. They caught me out there. Am I mad at him? I said, everybody, and you're a guy, yo, why 50 didn't, fight for you to in the movie and the whole thing? Man, he don't supposed to fuck up his money for me. Why should he mess up his money for me? Nah, that was my fault. I shouldn't have told him shit. Or I should have had them sign something. If you do the documentary in this way, you owe me. Because it was my ideal. They can't tell me they had that ideal because they didn't know they had Tim. They didn't know they had Kirk. You understand what I'm saying? They didn't know that because they came to me first. So that's what they do, bruh. That documentary, and if 50 do another one, and I heard he's gonna put it on YouTube or do whatever he's gonna do, Puff ain't gonna have nothing to do with that. Puff ain't gonna have nothing to do to try to stop that because he can't. Because if he could stop it, it would have been stopped. You know why he can't stop it? Because Puff know people right there at Netflix. Don't think he don't. And I don't know if this guy still worked for them, but he was part of the flavor unit, Shakim. He was part of the flavor unit. He was good friends. He was cool with Puff and them. Flavor unit and them, Queen Latifah and them, they was cool with Puff. If Puff would have sent the cease and desist over there and they could do it and he had the power and they wasn't right, they would have been done it. You see it's still rolling, right? It's still going on, right? He ain't got that power no more.
Gene Deal presents serious claims regarding Diddy's past relationship with Kim Porter, describing events he believes were deeply concerning. He refers to an incident that took place on a boat, where Kim was publicly said to have lost her balance and fallen. However, Deal questions that explanation and suggests there may have been more to the situation than what was reported at the time. These statements challenge the polished public image long associated with their relationship. They also raise difficult questions about why such claims were never thoroughly examined and how that silence may have shaped public opinion. Through 50 Cent's documentary, these allegations are brought into wider discussion, prompting renewed scrutiny of Diddy's private life.
And you carry yourself like a grown man. He doesn't carry himself like a friend,
So you're not surprised when you hear Cassie say that, Diddy, he used to hit her and she had to cover up her bruises with makeup. You're not surprised when you hear that. Cause I interviewed Gene Deal and he wasn't around Bad Boy when Cassie was around, but he told me that, he did the same thing to Kim Porter.
Or you could take it before then, and then you can remember when Misa was dating Eric Sermon from EPMD, and that was her childhood boyfriend. Like coming up, they was the lovey-dovey couple, and it was back then. He used to do that with Misa. So one thing I always say is, as a man and as anyone in a relationship, we often go through these kind of things. So I've seen it in friends. I seen it in him. I seen fights. I seen all kinds. I seen fights where he have an argument, fight with a female, whatever it may be. I seen it with my own friends. But sometimes you say, we all go through things, but once you have a sign of doing it over and over and over again, that's when it becomes a problem. You be like, so every relationship that you get in, you're violent in them. So you say, I don't have to wait to see what he would, I was around when Cassie was there. I knew Kim Porter before I knew Puff. I met Misa, but it was a history. When you have a history of the same thing, man, it becomes a problem. Something you do once or twice, you get over. First, you're not supposed to put your hands on a woman's way I was raised. And the only person that really put their hands on women really is men who have feminine traits. So, it really takes a coward to put his hands on a woman. So, a man is so strong enough, we can just walk away. You can do, it's so many different things that you can do other than get upset, put your hands on a woman. But that comes from a man who's not quite a grown man. It's still a boy, like a bad boy.
Speaking of Kim Porter, because you knew Kim Porter, is it true that Diddy broke her nose?
Bust her nose, man. But it was all, insecure.
Industry figure Gene Deal offers a critical assessment of Diddy's standing within the business world. He argues that commercial success, in this case, may have involved more than creative ability alone. Deal claims that throughout Diddy's career, ideas from business strategies to creative concepts were often adopted from others without proper recognition. He presents this as part of a broader pattern in which influence and control were used to strengthen and protect a growing enterprise. From this perspective, the focus shifts away from fame itself and toward the methods used to achieve it. 50 Cent's documentary brings these concerns forward, encouraging viewers to reconsider whether Diddy's rise was supported fairly by those who contributed along the way.
Unless they can hide unless she did her book on Google Duo and it's in the clouds and they could get somebody to get it out of there, she ain't got no book. It's just a conspiracy. Kim, it was alleged that she did have a book and that her book was about to come out. And she was talking about all the perils, everything that she went through in the music business and with Diddy. All the men that they slept with together, because there were men that they slept with together. There were swinging times that they slept with together. I don't know, man. How do you put your girl through some shit like that? Or how you look at your girl and knowing that she sexing another dude? What kind of demonic mind you have to be that far gone where that shit don't bother you for somebody that you love? But Kim Book was going to express all that. And I hope she did her book on Google Docs or she did her book somewhere that is floating in the cloud of the internet that somebody could go get it one day. Cause any picture you take, anything that you write or say, it's in that internet cloud. It just gotta be, you just gotta go get it. And one day, somebody gonna go get it. But I'm sure that he probably got hold to those tablets or whatever she had, allegedly, and got rid of them. They swimming with the fishes.
Wow, man. So she was about to expose all that in her book, them sleeping with men together.
She was gonna expose everything. I heard it was tell all.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Just curious, right? Did you know that Diddy and Kim had that type of relationship back then in real time?
Yeah. Yep. Because I know somebody personally that lives in Atlanta that was swinging with them, and I would never mention his name because he's a good brother and he knows my family down there. You know, he knows my family down there, and I would never, put his name out there like that. He's been in the music business. He done put a lot of groups, A-listed groups out there, especially A-listed groups from Atlanta. So I would never put his name out there like that. But, I got the key, I got the pass key to everything. But then when, they needed more ice or they needed bottles and stuff like that, when I used to go to the door and I knock on the door and they open the door, and then, my nosy, whoa, you see certain shit. Or they sitting in the jacuzzi together, all of them, nothing on. You see shit like that, bro. It is what it is.
In a candid interview, Jaguar Wright discusses concerns she says stem from Diddy's behavior around his children. She claims that they were sometimes present in situations that could be considered inappropriate, raising questions about his approach to parenting. While much attention has been given to Diddy's achievements in the music industry, Wright emphasizes that the more serious issues often remain unseen behind the public image. The larger concern, she suggests, is understanding the impact of these circumstances on his children and why such matters have gone largely unaddressed. 50 Cent's documentary highlights these claims, prompting audiences to take a closer look at the private aspects of Diddy's life.
Telling me he had a bottle of champagne. They was drinking Moet all of the time. So I guess they don't consider cases of champagne and everybody having their own bottle and drinking out of their own bottle like it was a 40 ounce. I guess they don't consider that drinking, but I digress.
There was a part where he was going back and forth with Andre Harrell, and he was saying, I'm gonna be drunk and high by Wednesday. I don't know.
Exactly.
So I'm like, it seemed like the shift happened quickly when it comes to being introduced into this thing, into this industry. So he's technically he might be a victim as well. I don't know.
I've already said that I believe that he was victimized, and I think it happened long before the industry. People really don't want to look closer into his childhood and to what his mama had going on in that house. God knows what he saw and what happened to him in his own mama house. All of those strangers, them up involved, looking around, seeing what was going on. And let's just be clear, it sounds like her house was a house of, professional freak-offs. So who knows what he saw or what could have happened to him while she was busy entertaining people and pouring and getting tips, as she would say, for her after-hour life.
Oh yeah. He was. I'm gonna say he was surprised to hear that.
School bus driver. No, was he surprised or was he like, zip it, you talking too much? Because that's what it looked like to me. It looked like you talking a little bit too much. They don't need to know about that. While she was sitting up there, because I was a bus driver and I was this and I worked at the after hours.
As 50 Cent's documentary continues to examine Diddy's past, new layers of controversy emerge. Accounts range from personal conflicts to questions about professional practices, offering a closer look at challenges behind his public image. With additional material reportedly set to be released, the story is still developing. Observers and audiences alike are left wondering what further revelations may surface as the documentary unfolds.
Leg, L-E-G.
Yeah. Jeez.
What straight grown man says that to another grown man? Because it sounds like the leg that he was referring to was his pee-pee scut.
God damn. And again, we're bouncing around, but for Lil Rod, that whole part right there where he stated, they would all just be drinking, and then all of a sudden everyone's out of it, and he would wake up with women next to him. Sometimes he'll wake up with Diddy next to him, not remembering what happened the night before.
Yeah.
That's as wild as it gets, man. There's so much left unsaid.
Just wake up with Diddy next to him. Wake up sore. But I'm tripping, all right? I'm tripping. I mean, that's what the whole world went around saying. I'm tripping. Okay.
When you see the Eric Sermon discussion about Misa, and it seems like Diddy's just out there to take everyone's girl. It seems like if you got her, I want her. For the situation where they say he was trying to shape Misa into his mother, can you see that? Like,
yeah, with the blonde hair and yeah, and all of that. I mean, somebody asked the question, what kind of man puts his hands on his mother? The same kind of man that parties with his mom, the same kind of man who kisses his mom in the mouth, the same kind of man who seems to have a bunch of blaxploitation movies being played around the house all the time. They grew up with the Mac playing. They grew up with Superfly playing. Like, I mean, if that's what you got going on, you got two women in the house and there's no men around, and these are what the little boys are watching. You got basketball players coming over late at night. You got hustlers coming over, PIMPs coming over, women who look like they were modeling for Jet Magazine coming over. Like, it sounds like the nature of the environment is what shaped their perception of what cool was. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure for him it was, oh man, that's who my dad was. We glorified these characters. Like, even if you look at Biggie Smalls' name, Biggie Smalls is a character from an old Portier Cosby film, Uptown Saturday Night, I believe. 40th Street Black and all of those characters that they had in the film. Biggie Smalls was played by Calvin Lockhart. Big gangster from, I believe, St. Louis. Like, all of these characters.
Yeah. Without question.
Yeah. So I'm sure for him, it made him feel good, because all of that stuff that he was watching, he really came from that. But that was really his legacy. And yeah, I'm sure for him it felt good to know that his dad was this big hustler who turned out to be a snitch, who got his brains removed from his head in a very, very, very unpleasant manner.
That's history tells.
Jack, there was a part in the documentary he kept saying, God told me to do nothing.
Yeah.
He's telling y'all need to do something. God tells me to do nothing. What are your thoughts on that?
This is what my thoughts on that. God said no. That's what God said. Like, he was wilding with the whole, God told me I can't do nothing. But he didn't say that you couldn't do something, and then you couldn't do something, and then you couldn't do something. God told you to do nothing. Why did you call Kalina 80 million times then? If God told you to do nothing, if God told you to be still. Speaking of God, did you see him with Little Rod working out
Oh man, that was.
while they were on the come down from all of the pharmaceuticals and all of the weirdo behavior and all of the alcohol, watching TDJ?
You know, Kirk Burroughs, he had said that, you know, Diddy had, you know, put his hands on his own mother, you know, from what he, you know, it happened long before the fame, or long before his notoriety.
During the first tragedy that made him famous, the City College celebrity basketball game that claimed 9 lives. Very similar to what happened with Travis Scott down in Houston for Astroworld. Isn't that funny? Isn't that such an odd coincidence? Diddy did that thing and 9 people ended up passing away at the end of it. Travis Scott did that thing and 9 people ended up passing away. Like it's the coincidences are so interesting.
He no one got in real trouble for that. No one had to, I guess you could say, pay the piper in creating Bad Boy. He knew to take the business and put it in his mother's name. So therefore, they can never seize those assets. Technically, everything is still in his mother's name.
Kind of like how what is it, D4VD, the David kid, did after that girl came up, hacked up into pieces in his car.
Yeah.
Yeah, he came back home to Texas, right outside of Houston, and started turning over assets immediately. While his PR team was lying, saying that he was cooperating with the police, when the police have made it very clear as of late, he has not cooperated at all, left the state almost immediately. So when he so-called moved out of the house, on, what was it, Doheny, and now they've changed the name to Vireo. Isn't that funny? Girl gets found cut up in pieces right around the corner from a rental property, and they literally changed the name of the street within weeks. Isn't that interesting?
Oh yeah, no.
Huh?
Yeah, no, that was that's not a coincidence.
I know. Like I guess the reason why I'm bringing up certain things is because a lot of people are trying to make this seem like it's just a Diddy issue rather than it's an industry issue.
So let me ask, because him putting his business in his mother's name and the U.S. attorneys trying to go after RICO that he used his business as an enterprise to do these sexual deviant things.
Yeah.
Technically, if he's just getting, let's say, a small